Welcome to the meeting room at Global TV Talk Show, a broadcast service of globalbusinessnews.net.
This episode from the meeting room of Global TV Talk Show is brought to you by
The Bridge School, the accredited international online private school of choice, at bridgek12.org.
Porch Light Rental and Destination Services. Reduce your renter lump sum or managed relocation costs. Visit them at porchlightrental.com.
CubeMonk, featuring the world's first smart cube. Track your goods with our advanced GPS system. Welcome to the future of moving and relocation at cubemonk.com.
Primestone Partners, featuring corporate, government, and developer housing solutions, as well as senior-level advisory services. Find them at primestonepartners.com.
And by heirs.com. With our full range of services, we can help design and manage your international relocation. Find us at heirs.com.
Insured Nomads provides protection and peace of mind, with health insurance, travel insurance, group, or tailored insurance for the globally mobile. Visit us at insurednomads.com.
And by International Auto Source. We are the vehicle experts for expats, featuring all major brands of automobiles with flexible solutions and financing. On the web at intlauto.com.
It's Ed Cohen in San Diego, California, and this, again, is Global TV Talk Show, a news product of globalbusinessnews.net. We welcome you to go have a look. Nothing to buy, nothing to sign in. Just enjoy it. Our special guest today is from the Atlanta area in the USA. James Bilderback is an entrepreneur, CEO, and founder of RRI. So welcome, Jim. Tell us what RRI means to you with all its divisions.
Hey, nice to meet you. Nice to talk to you today. You know, RRI is one of our family of companies. It was probably our earliest one that we got into, which is basically corporate housing. So, there's always been a niche for relocating families, military, government, interns to have some type of temporary living space and apartments. Been a great resource for corporations to have people in that temporary. So that's what RRI is. We have a couple different companies that relate outside of that: Relocation Realty, which is real estate and property management, again, similar to like rental relocation, the RRI, which is property management. One's furnished, one's not furnished. And then we have our third company, InterLink Relocation, which is domestic and international relocation and kind of umbrellas everything and offers full gamut.
And you're into technology. Tell us about Global Link.
Well, Global Link is the technology that we use to manage, domestic and international relocation. So it's our portal that allows people to put their expenses in. It's our portal that helps us communicate back and forth with our clients. We take initiations from it. It processes all your gross up at year end. It handles all your cost estimates or your global comp, if you will, pieces of that puzzle. It's really encompassing of everything that we capture for the relocation process.
Yeah. So familiar with Beverly Bell over the years. And I understand she's active with you.
Yeah, what a great person too. We're definitely lucky to have her, and and of course she's part of our business development team, and she I think clients enjoy working with her because she's very knowledgeable, right? I was telling you about the roundtable that we did last week. Well, that was one that she had put together. And almost 70 corporate attendees there. We're really promoting education right now, especially since, like me and you were talking about, you can't go to conferences, you can't do a lot of things that you were able to do a little over a year ago.
So I welcome Beverly to come on the show sometime when you find it useful. We have many different shows, programs, series, and so let's do a deep dive here. you said you had many corporations attending your roundtable, your video roundtable, but some of these have contracts with others, right?
Some of them do, yeah. We're utilizing the roundtable is to promote education, to promote our education, if you will, to let companies know how educated we are, and to say, hey,
as a listening.
Yeah. We're experts in this, we're not just a relocation company, we're a real estate company, we're a broker, we have realtors, we have a property management company, a corporate housing company. We actually know how these things work, right? We know how these components work. We can teach people about it. We can help people get a better understanding. The one of our topics that we had was, direct reimbursement versus BVO, or a lot of people think that there's a lot more risk involved with a BVO and are paying so much in taxes, and they could really, alleviate a lot of that burden, and there's not that much risk. So we're trying to showcase both sides of that for everyone.
What's a BVO?
Your buyer value option, it's really the last protected component of a relocation. If it has a third party transaction involved in the sale of a home, then the money that the corporation is going to pay on behalf of that transferee for closing other expenses, they don't have to do gross up on that, and that's a big savings right there in itself, especially when you have a lot of homes that are $500,000 or $800,000.
So that's a tax write-off.
Correct. Well, it's tax exempt. Correct. It's not a write-off. It turns it into a business expense. So instead of it being income to the actual employee, it's actually just business expense to the actual corporation.
Got it. Okay, good. Thank you for that education. I could use it, and of course, I'm a pass-through to our audience.
Yeah. No, I think that was one of the biggest reasons that we had it as one of our topics, because I don't think people utilize that much.
Yeah, just right over.
And your average 8 to 10% for selling a home, by the time it's all said and done. So $50,000, a $500,000 house, and then you got to gross that up. That's pretty expensive. And you do that 10 or 20 or 30 times, you can imagine the savings in that. Right?
So I want to shift over to rental. I've seen some of your posts recently on LinkedIn, whereby you're showing some beautiful properties, rental properties, like that big one, big glass house in LA, in the Hollywood Hills area. Why would you do that without? It just looked like it was your property.
No, well, we're not representing that these are properties that we own. Most of the properties that we post on there have some kind of furnished short-term component to it, right? Where people can rent it short-term.
Got it. Okay.
So a lot of the posts that we do are about apartment communities in different cities where we have corporate apartments. So we're showcasing, all the cities that we have available options. We want to say we've got great options for you. If you've got interns or if you got people relocating or whoever it may be, we might have a great option for you for a furnished apartment. Now, we also do hotels and private rentals. So that's why you probably see some other posts on there. We might do a hotel of the month, for a Marriott that we do a lot of business with, or a private rental that we do a lot of business with. We could be showcasing that also.
Right. It's just good PR to keep it all going. Okay. So, that obviously means that you're duly licensed to handle all this stuff and there's no risk for the customer.
Yeah, we're the ones that are taking the leases on these properties, and then we sublease it to the actual guest that's going to be staying in there. And of course, we want to make sure that we're compliant with the property. So that's a big deal right now, especially with a lot of these private rentals that a lot of communities don't allow, like Airbnb or some of these shorter term 1 to 3 night stays. What we want to make sure is that what we're doing, us and the property both know what's going on. We're fully compliant with everybody. And And we always let the property know who our guest is. You know, they always are, most of the time, have to do a background check on the guest that's coming in. But
And
we take all the responsibility.
right. And the property is clean and safe.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know, a lot of these we're furnishing, we're putting in the housewares, we're putting in the appliances, we turn on the utilities, we manage the whole process of it. If it's one that already comes furnished, then we have a checkpoint that we go through and make sure it's got the furnishings that we require, everything's already turned on. Sometimes we need to add other things to it to make it a complete package. Like we do dorms, so like we rent university housing to some of our clients that have interns, and we manage that dorms that they'll be staying into. But a lot of times those dorms don't come with everything. We have to put housewares in there. We have to put a fridge in there. We have to put, you know, different things to make it a complete package.
A lot of work, boy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting though, you know, and we do different things, so it's not the same thing over and over again.
Yeah. And do you do that nationwide or just in Atlanta?
Well, the corporate housing we do nationwide, and we do a little bit of international. The relocation we do domestic and international. And just as a real estate company, we only do the metro Atlanta area.
Right. That's logical. Okay, so have you seen an uptick in the last 30 days?
No, I would, you know, you would think that, okay, it's like a mental block, you know, you go from one year to another, you're like, okay, 2020 is over with, but really it was just the next day. You know, I was looking earlier today, it looks like in the last 30 days, we've went from 300,000 cases a day down to 100,000 cases a day. So a huge drop in COVID cases over the last month. You know, from what we're hearing from our customers, it's about 50-50. One of the things that is an indicator is what companies are bringing back interns this summer, you know, because a lot of companies will run 100, 300, 400, 500 interns for the summer. Last year, they were all virtual. Right now, we're about 50-50, you know, so about 50% of those companies are bringing them back. So that is a little bit of a shift.
Scheduled for this coming summer?
Scheduled for this coming summer, correct.
Well, that's a good thing, I guess.
No, it's an indicator, right? Like, I mean, I haven't seen anything as far as more business in the last 30 days versus, you know, but I have seen some indicators that things will be transitioning more this summer.
Have you run into this, you know, companies requiring people to show that they have at least one shot, the vaccine?
Well, not that the companies are required that, but we do like business with big pharmaceuticals, you know. And one of them I was talking to the other day that's part of this COVID testing, they actually have an app at work, and I believe they have to get tested twice a week, and they have to show it on their app for what's happening. So you're seeing with some companies that have that technology, they're requiring a little bit more information from their employees. It's really been kind of unique because a lot of the service or manufacturing has been at work the whole time, right? It's just more of the administrative work that went home. You know, if you're working at a mine, if you're building a house, if you were, you know, manufacturing something, you know, for all of our clients, all their manufacturing people are at work, you know, and they have been at work. But if you're in HR, or if you're in IT, or if you're in this or that, those are the ones that have been, you know, that have been working from home. So.
Something that's really neat is that the Bridge School partners with various organizations to provide learning for their students. For example, we partner with a major ballet company, and we are able to enroll several of their students into our school. So now not only is the student able to participate in a school and have a seamless transition while they're very active in their ballet career, but now they have other dancers that are with them that are doing some of the same courses. So it's almost becoming a camaraderie where they're taking similar courses, they're working together on their ballet, and really being able to form this great partnership with these organizations to provide a needed service. A lot of times there are student athletes who will spend hours and hours at the gym or at the basketball courts, wherever it is. And if they're attending a traditional school, they're in school from 8 to 3. They get a quick snack, and then they're at the gym for 3 to 4 hours in the evening. Coming to us and having that partnership, they're able to break that up throughout the day. They can have a morning practice, get some schooling in, have an afternoon practice, finish their schooling in the evening. So there's that flexibility. And additionally, if there are tournaments or performances, it's fantastic because if there's a week where they have shows straight through, they can take that week off of learning and then pick back up when they're done. So it offers this great flexibility. And for the program owners of these sports leagues, it is a win-win situation for them because they see this need. They see this need that their students need to make sure that they are obtaining the grades necessary to be successful adults in our country and in other countries. But it provides them an environment where they can be successful at both.
So I personally have had one of the Moderna shots, and we're due to get the next one next week. And frankly, I can't wait. No, because I feel like liberated.
Yeah.
And I think everybody should do that. Why not?
Yeah,
But
no, I think it's
not
a
everybody wants to or can. Some people with allergies or prior conditions, the vaccine's not for them. And so they have to worry about that, or they have to find an alternative somehow. But for everybody else, I think it's probably a safe thing.
Well,
Anyway.
I think the technology is a little different now. Not to get too much into it, but I think a lot of vaccines inject the virus in you, but this one is a little bit different where it works something off of your DNA to create something. I don't know.
I didn't have any reaction whatsoever, but I know some other people were sore or something, but I had nothing.
No, it's nice to move past the fear of, I think that's been the hardest part, is people being nervous.
Yeah. So anyway, let's talk about the business. And how long have you been doing this with all these multi-dimensions that you've invented here and put together? I think it's a wonderful concept, and that you have the guts to do that.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes, it's not like it all happened at one time. My mom was a realtor and started our business. My grandmother was a realtor, and real estate's been in our business, for a long time and what we've done. And, my mom in the 80s had decided instead of doing real estate, she thought there was a niche to help find apartments in the Atlanta area, because before the internet, you didn't have any access to anything, right? So we basically went out and got all the data on all the apartment communities, put it in a big system, made a dot matrix book, like, an apartment MLS type thing. And, anybody that was moving would give us a call and we would help them with the rental piece. And then from there, we were getting calls for furnished apartments. So we were like, well, let's do the next furnished apartment ourselves. So then we created our corporate housing company. And it just kind of built like that. We wanted to help more with real estate. So we started our own real estate company. And then, we had found it was very difficult to get corporate accounts without really having the ownership of all of the business, right? So it can't just be a corporate housing company or a realtor. We need expense tracking, we need this, we need that, so that's when we created the relocation company. So we could offer everything or just a little bit, but there's really not any service we don't offer anymore that we can't help anybody. So there's nothing worse than not feeling like you can't do, the work. You want to have everything, all the tools in your bag, if you will.
So are you hiring people?
Yeah, we just hired a new person. Actually, she starts next Monday. I mean, we're not on a full on ramp up, but we didn't let go of anybody last year. So,
Oh, good for you.
we had two people that retired early, and that was pretty much it. So, for us, we've got not a huge company, but the people that we have, we have very talented people, and they're hard to come by. So I think being able to stay and keep everybody was key for me. And
Well, that's good, man. That's good. I wish you well. So, where do we go from here as an industry? I mean, you just one day after another, as you said earlier, but there's so much talk about this is changing and that's changing, and corporate, in my view, and from our conversations, corporations are still going to relocate people. It just won't be as many, and certainly the video virtual assignment work remote is here to stay. It just might not be as large, but I think the hybrid approach makes sense. That there's a little of that, a little of this, and the virtual assignment whereby, like, for instance, I'm sitting here in San Diego and I'm talking to you in Atlanta. I could sit here and dial for dollars anywhere in the world.
yeah,
It's just nothing's changed. There's always been jobs like that. But now with the addition of video, though, it's impacting everything. So, do you have a robot in your office?
no, I don't have a robot.
That's one of our quick, fun questions we're asking everybody who we talk with. And if
Yeah,
you had one, what would you want it to do?
yeah. Well, the industry is and history changes everything. We can't predict what all of a sudden is going to happen in the
Right.
future. And I think a lot of times we just get too far ahead of ourselves, right? Just like we didn't predict COVID and everything shutting down, I can't predict maybe a boom and everything ramping up. There's a lot of different ways that things can go. And we try to stay pretty level headed and deal with what's in front of us. Do I think for a while relocation is going to be a little slower? I do. I think it'll take a little bit of time to transition out, but I think time heals everything. We've seen people don't remember the wars that we've been in or some of the other things that have been much more tragic than what we're going through right now. And it's all forgotten over a little bit of time. Um, and for us, I believe that there's a lot of market share for us to gain. So there's so much room for us to grow that makes me feel comfortable. So it's not just there's no more business out there and it's all dried up. Now there's still a lot of business out there, and there's a lot of different fingers that you can get into, and that's why we've always diversified, whether we open up other companies or spin off something or create something new. We always have to do that as business owners. The first business that we had in the 80s as apartment locator is not even, we don't even have that anymore because the internet has changed that whole thing, right?
Right, exactly.
So, we just constantly are looking for ways that we can advance ourselves, gain more market share, try new things, and we might not become billionaires or take over the world, but we're doing a good job, and we're taking care of our families, right?
Yeah, that's great. So, what's the best way people can find out about you? Obviously, you go using your name, key in LinkedIn, but what's the best website they should go and find out about you?
Well, we have interlinkrelocation.com. We have rentalrelocation.com, relocationrealtyinc.com. We've got a couple of them. I'm pretty easy to find. You can Google my name, James Bilderback, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube. We're putting out a lot of videos, and we're concentrating on putting out a lot of content too. I think that's been a big thing for us. is just trying to make sure that people know who we are and what we do, and try to have a little bit of fun. I think last year really killed everybody's fun, right? And the new thing is just take it kind of day by day, enjoy life, do a great job, but don't let it ruin you.
Well, Jim, thanks very much for being my guest on Global TV Talk Show. And please come back and join another conversation. And you take care and be well. And I really thank you for giving us an insight into an entrepreneur that's done well in a good business market, Greater Atlanta and elsewhere. And thanks for shooting the breeze with me.
Thanks, Ed. I appreciate your time.
Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us in the meeting room at Global TV Talk Show.
Have a wonderful day, and stay safe.